Hello everyone, I'm Yvonne, a children's librarian here at the Manchester City Library, and welcome to Elementary Experiments. Here we're going to do experiments aimed at elementary grades 1 through 6 with a focus on STEAM, or science, technology, engineering, art, or math. This winter we will continue to have our in-person events at 3:30 on the second Wednesday and the fourth Tuesday of the month, with the exception of December because of the holidays. We are having the same activity and craft on each of the dates that month. So if you go to the first one, you probably don't want to go to the second one unless you really loved it and want to do it again. We will be putting up our video after the first event of the month so that anyone here can follow along online. But if you do want to join us in person, please visit our website to register. In-person attendance will also guarantee. Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's Elementary Experiments, where we are inspired in our activities and our crafts by the Lunar New Year. This year, the Lunar New Year will fall on Wednesday, January 29th. The Lunar New Year follows a cycle of 12 zodiac animals, so each year is said to be the year of that animal. And this year, 2025, is going to be the year of the snake. And because there are 12 animals in the year, the last time we had a year of the snake would have been 12 years ago. So if you are turning 12 in 2025, you are also year of the snake. The same for anyone who happens to be turning 24 or 36 or going backwards in multiples of 12. If you are curious as to what year you are, I have a handy dandy wheel of some of the animals and their years so that you can look up your birth year and possibly other people in your family or your friends. Other than that, what we are going to be doing today is a couple of activities that have to do with ways that you can celebrate the Lunar New Year. If you, like me, are not allowed to play with fireworks at your home or where you work, which is here at the library, we're not allowed to play with fire, but we can still have some fun with fireless fireworks and firecrackers. So that is what we are going to be doing for our activity. And for our craft, we are going to be making a cool paper origami Jacob's ladder version of a snake, which sounds very complicated, but is pretty cool and very cute. So let's get started with the first of our activities. So what we're going to do first is to make a fireless firecracker. Now, we've definitely done this before last year, but it's one of my favorite things, and it's pretty fast. It also only needs a sheet of paper. So I have a couple of sheets here. I have them in red and gold because those are traditional and the lucky Lunar New Year's colors. What we're actually also making the crackers for is also to make sure that we have a lucky new year, in that loud noises are said to drive away bad luck. So if you have chosen which one of your many sheets of paper I'm sure you have, you want to use, so we are going to take that one red. All right, so we're going to take our sheet of paper, and what we're going to do is we're going to fold it in half, hot dog style. So that's, we're taking our long edges and putting them together, so it's kind of like a hot dog bun. We are going to press that down. Now we are going to open that up, and we are going to fold one of the corners up to that middle line. So we have it like this, and then we are going to fold that original line up. So we have our half sheet. And then we are going to take this half sheet and we are going to fold it hamburger style. So that's where we take our short ends and match them together. And we are keeping that folded thing that we just made on the outside. That's pretty important. So now this is our cracker so far. And then this is kind of the tricky part. What we're going to do is we are going to take one of our fingers and pinch this folded section that is near the spine of our little cracker. And the other fingers are going to pinch here on the top of the unfolded section. And if you pinch those so that you're holding them, but not too tightly, and you sort of pull them apart, you'll see that they start to move. And you want to go until you see this mountain appear here, right? So when we have just our regular folded thing, and then we pinch and we pull, then we find this mountain, and that's when you're going to move your fingers up to pinch this corner now. And you'll see you get this almost like heart shape of these two cones, right? And the rest of the paper is able to move, but you're holding like this. And then what you're going to do is you are going to do a strong flicking motion downwards. Make sure you don't hit anything, but you're going to do a strong flicking motion downwards. The air is going to fill into these cones, and then it's going to snap the paper up, as you'll see, and the force of the air hitting that paper is going to vibrate just like the top of a drum does, and that's going to give us that nice snapping sound. All right, let's see if we can get it. Push this a little bit, and all right. See, that opens up like this, and it is the air hitting that, which is making that nice like crack sound. And then this is really great because you can just take this paper and then you can fold it back up, and it is reusable as well, right? You get back to this position, you pull until the mountain appears, pinch here, have your thing, and and there you go. That is your paper cracker that you can put off or set off as many times as you want to chase away the bad luck and have yourself a great year of this. All right, so we've got one more firecracker activity. For this, you're going to need a few more things, including a whole bunch of either tongue depressors or jumbo craft sticks. Apparently, the tongue depressors work better. But at the library, we have a ton of jumbo craft sticks, so that's what I'm going to be using. You're also going to want some glue and possibly some colors. But anyway, we will recover this as soon as I get my supplies. All right, I will see you in a second. So here we have got ourselves a whole bunch of jumbo craft sticks. Like I mentioned, apparently tongue depressors are even better to use, but these will work. What we're going to have to do first is make ourselves kind of like a starting device. I have one that is all set to go here, but I'll show you how to make it. So we're going to need 7, right? 7 of our jumbo craft sticks. And we are going to need some glue for this part. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to take one of our jumbo craft sticks, and we are going to kind of make a like stair step with 3 more, so that we are going to start here with one that has just a little bit on this side. Then we're going to take our next one so that there's like a little bit more, or that this one here is kind of in the middle. And then we're going to put our final one that is mostly on this side, right? And we're going to take those. And then what we're going to do is we are going to glue those down with whatever glue you have. I actually did all of mine with Elmer's school glue. So that it does mean it's going to take a little bit of a while to dry, but it will hold. If you have a faster setting or a stronger glue, you can definitely use that as well. You may want to ask an adult, because some glues are either really messy or slightly dangerous. So definitely double check before you get started gluing. But that's basically what we're going to do. And then we are going to take another of our sticks and we're going to put it underneath there for like added strength and glue that down. And then finally, we're going to take our last two that we have in our hand and we are going to put them on top of the two that are breaking the bottom and glue all of that together. And again, this is just for like added strength to make our sort of starting point for our large craft stick fireless firecrackers. This also has been called like a craft stick chain reaction, which is probably more likely how you would find it online. But I also think that it does look like one of those long strings of firecrackers going off. So that's why I thought that we would do it this month for our sort of Year of the Snake celebration. That is how you do your startup. And like I said, I actually had mine pre-done, but I did want to run over how you would do it. So after you have let your starting device dry, you can then add colors if you would like. I then also went and added those colors to my craft sticks that I'm going to be using to build my chain reaction. You don't have to do this. It can just be helpful to help yourself keep track of like the pattern that we're going to have to weave for our chain reaction to work. So I went ahead and did 10 sticks of each color. I think the suggested number was 50 to start out with. So I have 40, but honestly, it's kind of tricky to put all these together. And you only need like, I don't know, I would say maybe 10 or 20 to get like a nice visible reaction. So if you don't have that many jumbo craft sticks, it's okay. You can still test this out without having like a huge chain reaction. But it is a challenge to build the biggest one you can. All right, so I have colored these two main supports here a red, and then did green on my small stick, blue, and then green. And then I also have some sticks that I colored orange. So in my design that I'm about to show you how to build, all of my sticks that are going horizontally are going to be green and blue, and they're going to just keep that pattern up. And then all my sticks that I'm going to put in vertically are going to be red or orange, and they also will alternate or go back and forth between those two colors. And this is all just to try and help keep everything in order in our brains as we are building this. Here, because I have started with the red stick, I will then take my first orange stick, and I also made a little gap here to help us remember. So we're going to start by weaving it underneath the green, over the blue here in that starting gap, and underneath the green again. And I'm going to put it down, so we've just got a little bit under this top short stick sticking out. Then, because we have these three started already, I'm going to take my red stick, which is going to go under the blue and over the green. And this is where I'm going to have to start holding my sticks, because if you see here, the red, I'm bending a little bit, and it wants to jump back up. And that is how we are going to make this sort of chain reaction or this firecracker display, is because we are harnessing the potential energy that we're making by bending these sticks, just like you would stretch a rubber band. That's creating potential energy because it wants to spring back. And when we finally allow it to spring back, when we have our chain as long as we want to make it, or as long as we can make it, when we release that potential energy, it's all going to spring up and like fall in that really cool chain reaction. But we do have to keep a hold of them until we want to let it go. Otherwise it's gonna start before we're ready. Okay, so we've got those first two, and now we've come to the end of our horizontal craft sticks. So that means we're going to want to take some of those, and we started with it with green, blue, green in my like starting area. So I'm going to take another blue one, and so if green goes over our orange and under our red, blue is going to do the opposite here. And continuing our next one. All right. The really tricky part is that these sticks want to start sliding. If you see here how my red has gone, it's no longer covering that blank section. So the hardest part is to really make sure that as you're adding, all of your sticks aren't like sliding into places they're not supposed to be. This is pretty tricky. All right, but next what we would do is we would take our orange, put that in. All right, so I'm just going to keep building these out like this. So we've got our vertical and then our horizontal as we kind of like make this diagonal structure. I'm going to build it out a few more times, and then I'm going to let it go, and we'll see how it looks. All right, so I have added just 12 sticks onto my starting block. And so we are going to see what happens when I release them. Let's clear off our space. So you do want to do your release on a like a hard surface. So if you do it on carpet, that is going to absorb some of the energy, and we're not going to have like the sticks jumping and releasing as high. So just think about that on like when you're looking to let these go. You want to do it on like a hard floor, either like a wood, tile, concrete, on the sidewalk even, although the sticks are going to go everywhere, so think about that. Okay, so I'm going to see what happens when I release mine. All right, here we go. All right, we had our explosion of sticks. Now, if it's a longer, if it's a very long thing of sticks, I think that it's easier to see how it starts at one end and then kind of goes up to the beginning of our sticks. But you can see how it does make a pretty cool noise. It's not as loud as like actual firecrackers, but it is still pretty cool. So I hope that you guys have some fun with both this and our single paper fireless firecrackers. All right, everyone, and welcome to our craft portion of Elementary Experiments. So this is going to be our Snake Jacob's Ladder craft. Most of what you need is going to be in the craft kit if you are able to pick one up from the Manchester City Library. So anyone in grades 1 through 6 can either go or send someone to pick one of these up while supplies last. Otherwise, you're definitely going to need some tape. You also are probably going to want some glue and scissors. That's mainly for the decorative parts though. We are going to be adding onto our Jacob's Ladder our little eyes and our tongue to make them into the snake version. So basically, this is what we are looking to make from our kit. We are going to be different colors depending on which bag you end up grabbing. But what we have here is we have our cute little snake. And then if we engage the Jacob's Ladder portion, it looks like, here, get a better view. So it looks like our snake is falling and changing colors. but it's really just the different sides of the squares. As you can see, adding a little bit more tape to this one to keep the ribbon stable. It would make it be a little bit smoother, but this is sort of like generally what we are going for. Okay, so to make this, we're going to need to look into our kit. We have our instructions per usual. We're going to have our 12 pieces of paper in 2 colors. This one is a green and purple. We're going to have 3 different things of ribbon in 3-foot segments. We're going to have 6 thin cardboard squares. And then finally, we are going to have 2 googly eyes, a little piece of red paper for our eyes and the tongue of our snake. I'm going to leave those in here though. So what we're going to do to start is we are going to take our squares of paper, and you can decide how you would like your snake patterning to go. So on this guy here, I did do one of each color per square, but you can do it however you want, or even if you have different colors that you want to add in on your own. You just need to have whatever paper you use be this size square. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our first square and we are going to fold one side in towards the center. It doesn't have to be exactly centered, but you know, try to sort of aim for it. But if it's off, that's okay. So we've got this folded up, and then we're going to fold this side here to match it. Okay, so we've got this, and then we are going to fold these ends that have not been folded up towards the center here, and then this side to meet it. Okay, so we have this smaller paper square all set and ready to go. This is one side of the segment of our snake, right? We're going to do the same for this one here. Okay, so these will eventually be one section of my new snake because I am going to do like one side green, one side purple. And we basically do that for all of our pieces of paper. And then I will show you how to put them together to form your snake segments. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to take whichever 2 of these folded squares you would like to make your snake section out of, and you are going to fit the fold. So you have the 2 folded. You're going to take one of these last ends and you're going to slide it in between the folds of the other block. Right? Then you're going to fold that up and tuck the other flap into the other side. This you might need to just be a little bit patient and a little bit careful, gentle with your fingers, because they are basically the same size that we're trying to fit together, so we're going to need to do a little bit of smoothing and coaxing. But we should end up with a square. This lighting, I don't know if you guys can really tell the difference. It's because it's not really showing up on my screen, but we have a purple side here and then a green side here to our square. All right, and then just because when I tested it with just the paper, the Jacob's Ladder like folding illusion kind of thing or falling illusion didn't work very well. Um, Partly because the paper is a little bit soft, but mainly because I think the paper is just not that heavy. So I found that adding our little square of like thin cardboard and just sliding it like in between these here. So we have these little pockets on actually all of our sides, and it doesn't matter which slide you slide it into. So just pick one and kind of slide it in. Again, you might need the guide because it might get caught on the interior like folds. But yep, it just slides right in, and it's just going to sit there and help keep our parts of our snake strong and heavy. Okay. All right. And basically, we are going to do that for all of our snake segments. So you're going to, in the end, we're going to have 6 paper squares with cardboard in between, just like this one. All right. Now I have all 6 of my snake segments kind of ready to go. So now we're going to take our ribbons. I find it easiest to have 2 ribbons in one color and then your third ribbon, which will be your middle ribbon, in a different color, just because it helps keep track of everything. So what we're going to do is we are going to take our very first square and we are going to take our first ribbon and a little bit of tape. So we're going to take this end and we're going to put it through the middle of our paper, and we're going to tape it in that intersection, and we're going to tape it kind of like towards the top. All right. And we're going to take other one in the same color, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put it through the same way. So we put this one through this way. We're going to do the same for the lower one. So the top and the bottom tail is going to my right. So our middle tail is going to go to my left. So we put in all of our top and our bottom this way. So our middle tail is going to go through the center this way. Okay, so we've got what looks like this. Now what we're going to do is we are going to cross over the ribbons. So this we're going to put across the top this way, so that our top and bottom are now going over across the left, and our middle one is now going to go across the right. All right, so now that we've got our ribbons going across our first section, we are going to take our next section and we are going to just put it right on top. And then we are going to take our ribbons and we're going to go through the middle of this block. So we're just checking to make sure that the ribbons are laying flat, looking good. And then we are going to repeat by taking these and crossing them over the top. And then putting our next square on top of that. And we're basically just going to repeat this until we have got all of our squares stacked up, and then we are going to secure the ends. I'll show you that when we get there. So to make this work, we need to make sure that every time we remember to cross our ribbons across the top of our square, then put a square on top, and then put the ribbons in between the 2 squares before crossing over again. It is easy to forget, but The good news is that if you do forget, you can just unstring the ribbons. It's kind of annoying because it takes more time and then you have to redo your work, but you can do it. So if you do mess up a little bit, remember it's not the end of the world, and it can be fixed. Okay, so I'm going to continue here and then I'll show you how we're going to tape up everything so that it will fall nicely. All right, so I have 5 of my squares. This is my last square, and they're all pretty smoothly laid in there. So I'm going to cross my ribbons over the top of my second to last square. Your ribbon should actually be a little bit longer than this. My ribbons are a little bit short, but I'm going to put this one on here, and then these ribbons are going to go in between the layers, just like when we started on the first one. And we may end up also adjusting the final ribbons because we don't want this to be too tight or too loose, because we want to get that sort of like nice middle ground so that our Jacob's ladder will fall the smoothest that we can make it. Okay, so let's see if we can get this to work. So we've got our segments here, and we're going to do the tilt. Okay, so we have shown that we have laced it up or used the ribbons correctly. Now, to make it fall better, what we're going to do is we're going to add little pieces of tape in between our ribbons. So you can either rip these or cut these. So we're going to take these tiny small parts here and just tape both the pieces together. So I don't know if you guys noticed, but as it fell, some of these definitely gapped, right? So we're going to just tape this here. And honestly, I found kind of the more pieces of tape that you do to like have the ribbons stay in place, the better it falls. But you don't have to do them all, right? So basically we don't want to tape the ribbons because we need them to move. But if we put a little piece of tape on each side of each of the ribbons, that is probably going to be like the most secure. But that's also like a lot of little pieces of tape and a lot of time. So you don't have to do all that. Just do as much pieces of tape as you need for your snake to fall correctly. And this is where the whole like experimental process of testing, looking at your results and then retesting, well, making changes and then retesting really comes into handy. Because that is something that we would need to do, right? So, so if we do our test fall, we can see here, this is definitely gapping. So let's go ahead and put those little pieces of tape on either side of our middle ribbon. Okay, and then we can see how we have fixed that issue. And then we fall and we see that the same thing is happening here. So this is definitely something where I would, I think, put pieces of tape around the middle ribbons at least, and that will help guide everything in place. So I'm just going to do that real fast and then we'll do another test run. All right, let's test this out. Let's see. Okay, so I think that at least for mine, that just taping around the like center ribbons here, so down this way and then down this way, really did work. So what I'm going to do next is just add on the tongue and the eyes for my snake. All right, so now I'm just going to find the blank side of my square. I'm going to take my red piece here and I'm just going to cut out a little snake tongue. Now it's a bit lopsided, but it's okay. So what I'm going to do is you can get some of that glue. I'm going to put it on my tongue. My paper tongue, not my real tongue. And I'm going to stick it into what will be my snake's mouth. And then add the eyes. Okay, and then here is my Jacob's Ladder snake. Got it here. And then it's going to flip back and forth. Just a little bit of shaking. Not bad. I really like these Jacob's Ladder, origami Jacob's Ladder snakes. Even though they are a bit fiddly to make, they are really fun to fidget with. They are really cute gifts if you want to make something homemade for someone. And as long as you're willing to put in a little bit of extra effort, they are both cute and fun to play with. So I hope that you enjoyed making this with me. I'm going to do a little bit of cleanup, but I'll see you in a second. All right, everyone, I hope that you enjoyed this elementary experiments inspired by the Lunar New Year and the Year of the Snake. These were some projects that I always really enjoy doing, so I hope that you enjoyed them too and learned a little bit about science as we went. I do want to remind everyone that right now we do have our blast off with winter reading going on, which is available for anyone ages actually 5 to 18. So obviously includes anyone who does elementary experiments. And even if you can't get into the library very often, like if you join us here online, you can sign up and do your reading recording online, as long as you can stop in to pick up any of your prizes that you earn while reading before the end of March, beginning of April, which is when our winter reading will come to a close. Other than that, I guess I will hopefully see you all again, either here online or in person for next month's elementary experiments. Remember that if you do want to come in person, our calendar has been all fixed, so you can register online at home, although you can also just give us a call at the library if you would like us to register, or stop in at the children's desk next time you're there and we'll take care of it then. So until then, I'll say goodbye.